So can you fire earlier and better by going abroad? Let's have a conversation about that. The visibility is super good right now and the water looks crystal clear, so even though it's October, I'm gonna see if I get to jump in the water today. So there's two camps on this. There's people that want to become financially independent first, or retire, or both, and then go abroad. And then there's another group that they can do it while doing their traveling and being abroad. Now, I understand there's another camp that has no interest at all in going abroad. But for this conversation, let's talk about the first two. And so the challenge with the group that wants to, and I understand that, you know, if you have the capacity, the ability to earn while traveling, that's clearly a prerequisite to being able to use, and I see this a lot, the low cost of living abroad. Now that low cost is always a comparison to more expensive areas in the States, and in general it can be said that that would be correct. But as you know, there are variables of that based on how we do things. So the bottom line is that for the people that want to fire first and then go abroad, the challenge with that, I was saying, is that the way I see it is that they don't really have a 100% grasp of the costs of going abroad. I've met countless people that thought they had to have this much and this much and this much, and to a certain extent that is somewhat true or correct based on their understanding of what kind of a life they want to live. However, we're not all the same and we have different needs and wants and goals and such. So for example, for people like us, that the way we do things, if you've been following our journey, then your numbers can line up for your fire. They can line up a lot quicker, whether it's abroad or at home. All right, so another take on this thing is that if you're able to, for example, for those people that take the work on as a contract, on a timed contract, like say 6 months, or maybe you have seasonal activities. I used to provide services that were seasonal. I had friends that worked seasonally, you know, in the off season they didn't work, they just saved enough to get past it, which is what I used to do. So if you have seasonal work or just contracts that come up every 6 months, whatever it is, 8 months, you can make a plan. What you would do is pencil out your 12 months worth of expenses, and then during the time you're working you would have to save up for the other months, and if you decided to travel. Now when you're trying to pencil these things out, clearly there's penciling and then there's penciling. I mean, my ledger's not going to look like your ledger, and you can see based on our videos and how we live life that for some of you the way we do things means that you can make them happen, whereas perhaps you know, you would not be able to make them happen. So it's a question of, for some of you it's either no go or go. So it's like, look, if we do it this way, like what Frank and Angie are saying, we can make it happen. And then there are other people that just, they have so much that, for example, a lot of people that are looking at firing first, they're getting their information online. So, and you see articles like this is the kind of information that they would unfortunately rely on, part of it anyway, and it would be about this young family that went to Central America, Nicaragua, and spent $4,000 on a month. Now clearly that was promotional, but and I understand, and they made statements like, oh yeah, we could have spent less, but they really didn't know how or didn't have time. But you would not know how to spend less if you're somewhere new as a tourist and just visiting. But if you have systems in place where you're able to rely on these systems, and then again, you know, we're talking about going abroad for longer than just short tourist spots anyway. So the bottom line is that there's not only one way to bake a cake. For some of you, if you follow this recipe, you'll be able to bake the cake, whereas before you may not have been able to bake that cake. The cake being to be able to do at least some part-time travel during the year, and for some of you do all year travel, while at the same time building up for your fire threshold. Okay, so And the net result of having just a different ledger, you know, just one view, because there's not only one ledger when we're talking about figures and numbers and the math that it would take to make things work for you. And so what it comes down to is, if you buy into this other ledger over here that everybody buys into, it's just going to keep you away from your dream that much longer, and it's just going to keep you working that much longer. So that's why we're buyer earlier and better. That's what that's all about. Yeah. In addition, as far as those that have no interest of going abroad, we didn't go abroad in order to become more financially independent or sooner or better or any of that. We were doing it already in the States, and after a couple of decades of that, we decided we already toured and viewed pretty much all the states in a 30-foot travel trailer full-time with children. We've lived in many states, and so we did that. Been there, done that. And I know a lot of you haven't done it yet, so something you can keep on your bucket list. Should we make a video about the secret of the off-season? What utter balderdash, huh?
Ice cream in Ecuador, yeah, same.
Better.
Creamier.
I don't think I've ever seen this flavor in Ecuador, but it's, you never know, because the, what was the name of that place? La Fornacha or something?
We had ice cream there, but
How much? $1.50?
I think Frank went in the water. He's the only one in the water this time of year. It is the first part of October. Is it warm? I don't have my swimming suit on. Is it warm?
Hope that helps. If you haven't subscribed yet, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching the video, and if you'd like some help with any of this stuff, check out the website links below the video. Thank you.